Today I'm going to be changing my bandsaw blade for the very first time. And I have to admit, it's a little intimidating, but it has to be done. You see, I was cutting a small piece of wood like this on my bandsaw, and I lost control of it, and I broke the table insert, and I bent the blade. So here we are. So I hope you stick around. It's going to be fun. My name is James, and this is Homestyle Woodcrafts. Here's an up-close shot of the blade. That's why I'm changing it right there. So what I've got here is a Wen brand 10-inch bandsaw. It currently has a bent 3/8" blade, 72 inches. And I went to Woodcraft and talked to them, and they were very nice and recommended the Starrett bandsaw blade, 1/4 inch, 10 TPI. Don't know a lot about bandsaw blades, but that's what they recommended. So I'm a safety first kind of a guy when it comes to working in the workshop, and as I've done my research, I've come across 3 recommendations for safety for this procedure. Number 1, unplug the bandsaw before you do anything. Number 2, wear safety glasses, and number 3, wear gloves. So I'll be doing those things. Let's get started. I imagine every saw is a little different, but probably more the same than different. For the Wen bandsaw, at least the one I've got, in order to remove the blade through this channel, I've got to remove the rail guide. All right, here. I think these just twist off. Well, that was easy. The next step is to loosen the tension by loosening the tension knob. You can see what it's doing is dropping this wheel down. I don't know, maybe you can't see that. Here's a close-up of the wheel so you can see it dropping. And now's the first big step, which is to actually remove the blade. So I'm going to get my gloves on. And we'll see how this goes. Oh, and I'm supposed to wear safety goggles. All right. Well, that was a little more than I thought. All right, so now I've got the blade out. And I'm going to see if I can fold this thing up. So I watched several videos about how to fold up a blade. So we'll see if I can do this. Oh. Oh. Oh my gosh. Hey, that actually kind of worked. And I would say gloves are an absolute must. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay. That worked. It worked. Okay. So I got some tape over here ready to go, and I'm just going to tape this together. I don't know if these pop open or not, but to prevent that, I'm just going to tape it. Hey, I'm kind of pleased with that. So. All right. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So one recommendation I heard when doing my research was to just take the opportunity to inspect the little rubber tire on the wheel and make sure it's in good condition, and maybe even scrape it, lightly scrape it to get some of the buildup off of there. I don't know that I'll have a lot because I'm not a heavy duty user. And I'll do the same for the bottom. Now it's time to unbox the new blade. I think this is the scariest part because the spring action could, make it fly all over the place. So I'm going to open this up. There's instructions on the back about how to open this up. Oh, that's a lot of box for a little blade. Okay, let's give this a try. There are a number of methods I saw about how to do this. All right, not exactly smooth, but I did survive. Okay, so let's put this thing on the saw. Remember, teeth pointing down and teeth pointing forward. So this blade just wants to move everywhere on its own, and there's all these points to get it into. I loosened this quite a bit, so I'm going to adjust it up, or I mean, by which I mean tighten the tension. Okay, so I thought I'd spare you all the fussing it took me, but it probably took me a few more minutes after I shut off the camera. I want you to see where we're at. So it's pretty close to the middle. Seems to be tracking well. It's not, the adjustments aren't done, but we're getting there. You can see when I rotate this wheel, see this bearing down here? That's turning. I don't think it's supposed to be touching that, so that's going to need to be adjusted. And then it's rubbing on the side here. And I'm hoping that as I increase the tension, that will get that off there. So here's the tension knob, and I'm just going to tighten it, which will bring the wheel up. Oh yes, and you probably can't see it because it's so dark. Actually, I'm going to zoom in here. So, you know, just a minute ago I was telling you that the blade was resting against the side. I know this is hard to see because everything's black, but I hope you can see this, that with just a little bit of tension adjustment, this is off the side now. In my research, I came across a lot of opinions on tension and how much play there should be in the blade. This is moving about 1/8, and I'm calling that good for now. So here's where the tracking is. Now that we have the tension taken care of, you can see the blade's pretty close to center, but I'm going to move it. I may regret this, but I'm going to try to move it just a little bit back, a little further. Here's the knob for the tracking. So I'll be using that to adjust. There's a lot of scraping sound going on. See that more than there should be. I'm not sure where that's coming from. And I'm moving the knob on the back by very small increments. Okay, so now it's time to adjust the bearings. So we've got the 2 guide bearings, one right here and one over here. And then there's the thrust bearing back here, up here. And they all need to be adjusted. This adjusts the thrust bearing back and forth. This knob adjusts this whole piece back and forth. And then on the back side, there's little bolts that adjust them side to side. All of that needs to be adjusted. The guide bearings are supposed to be just behind the gullet, as I understand it, of the blade, and within very, very tight tolerances, like 1/10 of an inch. And the thrust bearing in back, an even tighter tolerance. I'm not going to try to measure 1/10 of an inch or less, but I am going to try to eyeball it really close. Okay, so I'm done adjusting all the guides. Whoa. Something just happened. Well, that was a bit of a surprise. So I was about to show you how the tracking was going great, but while I was showing you that, on the bottom wheel, the blade came off the wheel all of a sudden. I think I had tightened the tension down too much and it slipped and popped right off. So I had to redo the tracking. and make some more adjustments to the guides, but I think everything's okay. Okay, let's give it a try. All right, you have a front row seat to the first try. So let's see what happens. And now I'll cut a piece of wood. Today's recommended snack for your upcoming watch party of my videos is spring rolls with sweet and sour sauce. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please subscribe and watch all my videos in their entirety. So I would say today was a success, some trial and error and a couple of mistakes, but I am cut free. I have all my fingers, my ears, eyes, and lungs are intact, and I've got a saw that will cut the wood that I need to for my next project. When you do your first bandsaw blade, give yourself plenty of time, don't get frustrated, and follow the instructions. Thanks for watching.